Everybody has their own idea what the perfect knife is. We like to call it functional art. If it's not a tool, to me it's not really a knife. We try and make them look nice too, but if it doesn't cut, it's not a very good knife.
Most knife makers now will use a gas forge. We still use coal. There's some traditionalists I've read that think coal is better. I'm not enough of an expert to even offer an opinion.
Grandpa? Oh, he was a little crusty at times. I remember the first knife I tried to forge in the power hammer. It didn't turn out very good, and he grabbed the tongs and he goes, "No, you just don't savvy." So I go, "Well, that's pretty obvious I don't savvy, but what am I doing wrong, you know?"
He was old school, wasn't very talkative. I think a lot of Finnish people were all Finlanders. Kind of that way, don't have a lot to say, but when he says something, he means it. He's a very loving grandfather, and he was great to his family.
He was in the cavalry. He was a farrier shoeing horses, and whenever a horse would die, there was a couple Indians that would skin them and use the hides, and they asked him to make a couple knives for them. That's how he got started.
He's one of the founding knife makers in the country, so to speak, of handmade knives. It was almost exclusively for hunters and local soldiers heading to World War II. There are a few guys that carried them over there.
Some guys claim it makes the steel tougher when you hammer it, forge it, so we haven't done any studies on that, but
And the stuff my brother does, I mean, it's off the charts. Whether it's a singer or an athlete or whatever, it's a God-given talent. I don't think you can teach what he does.
a lot of it's more of a feel thing than visual. You got to just kind of get a touch for it. I do most of the blade work, forging and grinding and polishing and tempering the blades. And Mike does most of the handle work, and he does all the book work, so which that's good for me because that's not my favorite thing.
There are a lot of great knife makers, but Grandpa developed the cast aluminum handles. I bet there's no one in the world today that is doing what I'm doing when I'm casting those handles. I kind of dread the job, to be honest with you, at times. Knock on wood, I've never had anything happen to me. Several years ago, when Dad used to do it, he had some aluminum splashed down into his glove. My mom worked for a doctor. He had what's called Silvadine cream for burns, and she got some of that to him immediately, and it took care of it, fortunately. It gives them a different look and it makes them super tough.
People can tell just by looking at him if it's a Rowena just because of that handle.
The milling machine we use is one my granddad made from scratch.
That milling machine Grandpa made showed his intelligence. He just scrounged up things that he could find to make it.
It's probably made a million passes back and forth, and you turn it on and you still kind of cross your fingers and it shakes and rattles and rolls and it still works. Basically just cuts the slot in each side of the aluminum handle. After they've been milled, we'll put the inserts in. To me, it's one of the fun parts because you'll have a couple hundred pieces of antler and it's kind of a puzzle piece. You're trying to match them up. It gives you an idea what the knife's going to look like. Some handles are going to be thinner, some are fatter, because no two pieces of antler are exactly alike. Previously, I think our customer base and Grandpa more viewed it as a tool only. Function was the main concern. It has evolved just the way the market is. It's almost done a complete 180 that a lot of people will flat tell us that are buying them, I'll probably never use this, I'm just buying it to look at. Regardless of what they say, we still make them to be used. We make them look as nice as possible. But making a cutting tool is our #1 objective.
It's pretty gratifying, especially when they come in and tell you their hunting stories or something, and you know that it's being used. And then the people that come in and say, yeah, this knife's on its 3rd generation of hunters and still working good. It's amazing where guys will see a Rowena knife. Germany, Italy, Israel, you just never know where one will turn up.
Knives, I think they're kind of like guns. A lot of times they'll change hands numerous times, sometimes back within the same person several times. Grandpa's very first knives were not marked at all. Collectors in the know what they are, we know what they are. Occasionally someone will find one at a garage sale for $15. You see a similar knife on eBay for $1,000. It's kind of crazy. I'm sure Grandpa did not envision when he first started making knives how popular they'd be now and the value they'd be bringing.
I've never have made a perfect one. It probably took 5-10 years before I thought I was making a good knife, but I still think I'm getting better too.
It's neat to be able to work with my dad and brother and help carry on something my granddad started. You definitely take pride in what you do, and hopefully that shows in the end product.